Cheers, everybody, and welcome to episode 259 of the Michigan Bros Grows Show. We are your hosts for Girly Terror Nation, who's, I think, going to be here a little bit later. Nut Tree 420, of course, Russ Spartan. When are you going to put your beautiful, lovely lady's name down there, too?
I wasn't sure. I never know if she's joining or not joining, but this is Emily. Anything Grows.
Hi.
AKA.
That's me.
Anything Grows. What is? Do you want to talk about your new channel?
No, I didn't. Oh, shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Anything Grows. Tell me about your new channel.
Yeah. So, hi guys. Yeah. I'm also now hosting Puff Puff Pondercast. It's going to be like a bi-weekly book club meetup.
Cool. Like an actual book club.
Yeah. So we're starting with Burning Rainbow Farm from Dean Kuipers, and I just chose that one because it was cannabis themed. In general, though, the books are going to range all sorts of topics and genres. It's not just going to stay cannabis themed. You're more than welcome to partake and participate, of course, but it's not necessarily needed.
Don't ban me for this.
No, I appreciate it. I just got a new subscriber, so thank you, sir.
Heck yeah. Awesome.
I appreciate it.
It's a really cool book too, because I've read that book before. I kind of nudged her into it a little bit, I have to say, but it's just such a great story once you get into it, and why it was like for me, it was like a surprise, because it's like, I've been from Michigan my whole fucking life. How have I not heard about this? What the fuck? And then once you dig into the story and see, I'm kind of one to kind of go out and maybe protest if I don't like shit, and to see somebody of like mind get treated the way they did. It's
specifically with fire, the way that he likes to approach many topics.
Exactly. No, actually, they used fire.
I know, Burning Rainbow Farm,
which was very impressive. I liked it, but yeah, it's a great story, and it's made me want. I haven't been to Rainbow Farm yet, but I really want to go, and it's going to be, when I do go, instead of it just me going to an event place, that's going to be in the back of my head is, oh my God, it's going to be some solemn, I don't know the word solemnity. What is it's going to be a solemn moment for me, especially I'm sure they have some kind of memorial where the house stood. That's going to be crazy to see.
Well, okay. So for those that are listening, and I don't want to ruin the book club, so try not to give too many spoilers away, but for those that are listening and maybe aren't familiar with Rainbow Farms, and I mean, if you're in the cannabis vending space, you for sure have at least been slightly aware, but can you give us a little, maybe like Spark Notes version?
Yeah, it's actually notes, in that video that I posted, the first pages. I guess I should maybe try to figure out how to chapter it. I've literally the first video I ever uploaded to YouTube, but it does have a little section in there where it does kind of go over what the book is about. So if you want, just kind of scroll through. I'm not sure the exact number, but it's when the pictures start of the campground. I think it starts with a picture of Tom and Raleigh themselves.
Well, why don't you run it down for us then? Tell us a little bit about what the story is all about, because I mean, listen, like you have to be kind of deeply involved in the Michigan cannabis industry to have any concept of what happened at Rainbow Farms, and you really have to start digging into it to have any real understanding of what actually happened with Rainbow Farms. A lot of it is just hearsay and rumors, and kind of the rumor mill type stories you're going to get at events, quite frankly, and from people that maybe have had a little more experience there. But I would love for one of you, if not both of you guys, maybe you can team up on this and just break it down for those that are listening. We're only 6 minutes in the podcast. So I think this is very intriguing stuff, a very intriguing story.
Well, so I mean, honestly, I'm only a first few chapters in, and the first chapter really does a nice job of getting to some of the background of what was going on. So it kind of just starts out with everything happening, like the actual event itself happening, where they're protesting, they're boarding themselves up in their home on that.
What are they protesting?
And who
is they?
They is Tom and Raleigh. They're the two who started Rainbow Farm. I'm sorry, I can't handle your little fucking goblin. Get out. Oh my
I
lord!
get him.
Just
I
his
get him.
breathing alone is bothering me. Um,
I'm trying to tell a story here. It's important.
and he's over here just like hacking, like for no reason. Just, geez. So it's Tom. I don't remember their last names. But Tom something and Raleigh Rome, I think was his name. But they're actually a couple who started Rainbow Farm. And they wanted it to be this like utopia site where they could have festivals and events and just community, like a lot of things that we ourselves in the community are looking for. They truly put it together. And so, I mean, they had a festival every year that was called, I think it was called the Roach Roast. And they would have like big acts come out. Merle Haggard and Tommy Chong are listed as some of the performers for it. So they'd have, you know, hundreds, thousands, I think, with the size of their like estate, would show up. Yeah, it was just a big campground. And so they did that, and they also grew cannabis, believed in, you know, plant medicine just like we do. And they ended up getting charged, you know, a handful of times over the years. And he had gotten charged.
They just had a DA that fucked with them.
They
fucked with them. And but the funny
so
thing
I
was,
feel like I don't know a lot of the story yet, so I don't know a lot of the. I'm sorry if some of this is wrong.
Yeah, I get Tom and Raleigh mixed up. Tom, I believe Tom was the one who
Tom is the one who really.
They both started out. They met each other as truck drivers. They were a team, duo truckers down the street, you know. And but Tom ended up getting money in real estate, investing his money in real estate, and by the end, I mean.
Yeah, so he was able to fight every single time he was charged, every single time he was arrested. He had actual legitimate money from his real estate.
So that he would jump through all the hoops so that he could have these get-togethers. And in the middle, and the reason why they didn't like him is, for one, was they didn't like him to have the big festivals because they were freedom festivals about freedom, and then two, during his off time, not only were they had a farm where they farmed, and all the extra food went to be shared with everybody else. They let the people camp there for free. Some people that were just down on their luck, and at the campground year round. There's people that were year round campers there, and so it was kind of a, like Emily said it best, like a utopia for some people. It was like, oh, this is a place I can go to be accepted, because, you know, they're basically, you know, Tom and Raleigh aren't going to look down on you because they've been persecuted their whole lives themselves. And they were pro cannabis, but they were anti most all hard drugs. And that's what that was the way that the government was trying to take them down, was they would bring in undercover cops at the events and try to get all these hard drugs and stuff like that. And they couldn't get people to sell it to them because Tom would throw their ass out of there if he found out they had that stuff. He was okay with cannabis, but he wasn't okay with some of the other crazy stuff. So, I mean, that's a long story made long, I guess. But by the end of the whole thing, you know, he kept fighting against the stuff. And long story short, I don't think it was the federal government, it was the state government, because I think it was the Michigan militia that ended up coming in and murdered both of Tom and Raleigh on their property. When Tom knew that they were going to try to take his land, they burn everything.
The way that they were able to get his farm, though, is because they seized it as like part of
the forfeiture laws. So if they suspect you of a crime and they come and forfeiture anything that they think is got to do with your drug enterprise.
But he had a kid. They had a kid that was like 11 or something, and he was taken when he had gotten charged, and that was like in May of that year of 2001, and then September is when the end of August,
Labor Day weekend,
happened.
Yeah. So I had to ask ChatGPT to recap it briefly for us, but I think your guys' description is honestly better. So I'm not even gonna read too far into it, other than it's Roland Raleigh Rome, ROHM, and Tom Crosslin, CROSSLIN. This one says they hosted events like Hemp Aid and Hash Bash. I know they did do Hemp Aid, right? But Hash Bash is not related to them, right?
I don't believe
they promoted their events at Hash Bash, and they were closely related with them, but they didn't hold Hash Bash.
Okay, yeah, and this is 2000.
I think it's out of Vandalia, Michigan.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the first person I've ever heard pronounce that out loud. So I mean, God bless you.
Is it like the
It
onion?
just looks like, yeah, I was gonna say it looks like an onion to me. I don't know.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, 34 acres was the size of the campground. That's, I mean, that's not a crazy amount of property. It doesn't take much, I guess.
No,
you know?
Tom did a lot of work where he fixed up a lot of houses for people that were down there in luck and gave them low rents and let them rent it for their whole fucking life. He did a lot of good things for the community, and that's why that nobody could really touch him per se when it came to the law, because nobody's gonna be bothered that there's this cool guy that lives next to him, right? So then it became to just a DA who had basically a hard on for him, so he tried to make his life miserable. And Tom had the money because of all his real estate to fight him at every tooth and nail every way, and so he hated it even more. So he went up the ladder to fight Tom. He worked with people like Jennifer Granholm. She's involved in this. There's these big names that nobody even realizes, and yeah, it's a great story, but it's a sad story in the end at how it all went down and how they were literally murdered. I mean, we're talking about how when I think it was Raleigh, whoever was shot.
Wait, what? Are you going to give away stuff that's like, come on, spoiler stuff?
This is something I'm not sure.
Listen, this is the 20-plus-year-old story.
It's gotta be out there. So they had the road blocked off when they were coming to seize the property.
Mm-hmm.
Tom went around and started burning shit down. He's like, "You take the property, fuck you. Ain't gonna be it's not gonna be worth what you think it's gonna be worth, right?" So he burned down all because they had a general store built there for the people that stayed there all the time. They had a stage built for acts. It was serious business. So yeah, he basically was saying, "Fuck you, you ain't getting it." So he just burned it all down. But they ended up shooting one of them. I won't say names. They ended up shooting one of them on the front porch. There was at the roadblock, which was less than half a mile away, I believe, was an ambulance that they would not allow through the roadblock for hours and hours. He died and bled out on that porch. In his the autopsy, he was shot in the groin. That's where he was shot. So tell me it wasn't a fucking hate crime. It's just that kind of stuff like that is what, when you hear stories of the people that were there at the roadblock. There's been a great broadcast from our buddy Jamie Lowell, Jazz Cabbage Cafe, where they covered this with people that were there and witnesses. I'm sure you can just search and find that if you're interested.
Well, I mean, if you you talk about some of these names like Granholm and stuff that are real high up, obviously, and politics.
She wasn't obviously directly involved. She was like,
but hold on, there's the Cass County prosecutor AD that you're talking about, Scott L. Teeter.
Yeah, he's a dick.
He's still around, guys. He was appointed last year, about 13 months ago, by Attorney General Nessel here in Michigan, which we can all talk about our opinions on that at a different time. Appointed him the new head of Michigan's Elder Abuse Task Force last year.
Yeah, that's what he needs to be head of.
Uh-huh. And don't forget, he was the head of, I think, child support, some sort of child crimes thing or something. I don't know. It's just bizarre to me how some of these people can persist for so long in the public sphere and not be outed or ousted in one way or another.
Yes, it's a great book. And
and if you're interested in discussing any of the events or going over themes and stuff that are obviously still relevant today, I mean, we're still going for the whole right to just fucking grow. So, feel free to join me in while we're reading it. I've got linked in the video description there, different places that you can get an e-copy of. But there are still a few places online you can find like a physical copy. Hey. So feel free, to join along. And if you guys don't want to read it, which I totally get, like not everybody has the time, energy.
Do you have an audiobook version? Can I listen to you read it to me?
I don't have an audiobook version. I've got the physical copy I'm borrowing from him, thankfully. So, but I am going to be, during the next set of videos. So for every every book that I cover in the podcast is going to be broken down into 3 different sections. It's going to start with the first pages where I give a rundown of the title, sort of a little bit if there's any triggering themes, content warnings, things like that, overview of the story to see if anybody is interested in joining. And then I'll run down like the reading schedule that I'm going to be kind of following along so that we can all be on the same page if the one is there. But then we're going to go into what's starting soon. Oh my gosh, he is so big. I haven't seen him in so long. But then we're going to be going into the next section, which is called Between the Lines. And that's where I'm going to break down each portion of that reading schedule. So for this first one coming up this upcoming Saturday, it's going to cover chapters 1 through 5. And each of those in Between the Lines is going to start with a overview of what we read so that anybody who did not get a chance to read but still wants to participate or at least be involved in like what's going on can listen along to like a recap. And then I'm going to go into different segments in there. So like phrases, terms, words, anything like that I'm not too familiar with, or themes that are coming up, character analysis, sort of a thing. And then once those are all done and we're through the book, I'm going to recap it all with just my final thoughts, where it's just a start to finish overview of everything, kind of touched on again, and then a look at the next book we're going to be starting.
It's fantastic, Emily. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Becca, welcome. How are you doing? How's the old pup? He missed you?
Struggling.
He's been on one since we got back, and we had to eat really quick, and now he's got his toy. We'll see how long that lasts for.
How was he when you were away? Did he destroy anything, or was he all right?
He stays in the crate, so
Okay.
he's a real good boy in there.
I am like this close to deciding to crate Endo when I leave. I came home today, like she always gets on the beds and stuff. I understand, it's fine. She'll get sick sometimes. She has anxiety and all that. But I came home today and she had chewed through my son's blanket, like to get the stuffing out, because she loves to just nibble the stuffing and just pull it out in little tufts and leave it everywhere. I was so mad. I was like, you're just outside. Get outside now.
I don't trust Ruben alone. Like sometimes we'll leave him alone upstairs if we're outside, and he does fine. He does good sleeping overnight. You know, we transitioned away from crating him overnight,
Mm-hmm.
and he just
You have to block off areas of the house for him.
yeah. So he can't go in the kitchen. He can't.
I see that baby gate behind you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's which way? There's
so many right now.
We're constantly falling over them, and mostly Derek. And Ruben's afraid of the gates, so that's helped that.
Good.
That is very
Stays
helpful.
away from them, but he's
I've fallen over them enough. He knows better than to go near them.
and when he walks,
yeah.
walks over the gates, he runs the other way. Like just in case I'm
Loud
traumatized.
noises. Yeah.
Gotta get out of here.
There was one point at which I could put a 20-ounce, just regular size bottle of water, or 16-ounce, whatever it is, in the door frame of my door, and that was enough to keep my pit bull out of the room. She does not respect it anymore, but that worked for a couple of years.
We can have the gate like not even closed all the way.
Yeah,
And
he don't want nothing to do with that.
too
That thing attacked me. It bit me. I know what it's capable of. Don't trick me.
he loves new toys. That's his jam. So this is his newest toy, and he's almost ruined it.
Oh my gosh. He just devours them.
But he's rough on him, man. He is rough with his toys. But he's good. He's gonna be fun. He'll be fun.
So where did you
I'll
guys
give
just get
a-
back from? Was it Third Eye today?
Yeah, they're craft fair
Cool.
in Lansing all day. So we left at 10, and we just got home around 8. So he spent about 10 hours in the crate. He did good. His first time in the crate was when we did the Hash Bash Cup with Fergoli. And that was like 12 hours, and he did it. So that's about his limit. So,
Sorry and thank you, Ruben.
but yeah, craft fair.
I just tripped over the fucking gate. Yeah.
Speaking of, what's up, Red? How you doing today, man?
No.
You made some tea.
I made some tea for some hot water.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dabby Hayes. I'm smoking one of his. It's a Temple Kush crossed with Mandarin cookies. It's an Ethos one, but it's definitely got the Mandarin cookies taste, and it's pretty good. Dabby Hayes, thank you.
That sounds tasty. I was just talking to somebody about an orange cookies cut today, and it's just up my alley. I like
Yeah.
those.
He also gave us a pre-roll that I'm saving for Tara. For Tara to smoke it with. It's a Runts crossed with a Ghost Train Haze by
Ooh.
Rare Dankness. That one. So
I remember Ghost Train Harry's by Rare Dankness. Not necessarily that cross, but y'all got me itching to do a dab now.
What's everybody else smoking on?
Last dab out of this jar anyway, but it's the Squirt Au Clem. It's about 60-70% squirt, and the rest is clementine.
Forbidden
Fundified.
Okay. Fundified.
I'm smoking some Reuben hair. So
Oh, yummy.
I've been smoking on Puro Loco a lot lately. It's a papaya in Mumbo 75, and it's really cheesy and skunky.
Nice.
I really like it, and it's got a really nice, like, it's different than Haze, energetic daytime. Like, it reminds me. So I ran this Apollo 13 for a really long time, and it was super cheesy. And it was the one strain that my mom smoked, and she always like, do you still grow that one strain that made me get up and go do the garden work and stuff? And I'm like, nah, no, not anymore, but we actually found a bag seed a while back, and there's one in flower right now in Apollo 13. It has a little bit of a cheese smell to it too, but this Puro Loco, one pheno is cheesy. This pheno that I've been smoking on, the one that I like more for effects, and I think for flavor, is a little more skunky and a little more like soap, like dial soap. So there's like this kind of spectrum of cheesy skunk, and there's like, so the Puro Loco's got something really nice going within it. This is archive genetics. These were feminized seeds. We grew out a couple of them. We ended up having 2 of them flower, and honestly, I'm having a hard time picking a winner, and I might keep them both. So we got 2 different phenos of that. And another one that I've really been liking, but I didn't keep just because it's not a daily type of a driver for me. It'd be nice to smoke at night or when I want, but it's a heavy pine, Bubba heavy, Dub Bub, and we ran 4 phenos of that, and 2 of them, and Dub Bub is Bubba Kush and Dozy Do. And if you like a nice pine, like heavy pine, like Christmas wreath tree terpene, that Bubba Kush, well, at least this Dub Bub throws it in there. I think it's the Bubba leaners that are pulling the pine, because there's some a pine Kush, spicy, gassy, Dozy Do leaning coming out of there with little tiny little popcorn nugs. But then there's these really nice flowers that are coming out, popcorny, but really nice flowers coming off. We have we harvested one in our outdoor. I'm growing one outdoor, really big plants, really nice. And then I have one more, but otherwise I ended up kicking the line. So I've grown a few of them out. I really like it, and it's going to be good smoke. A couple people like it. It doesn't have the best marketability, but that being said, for those of us in Michigan and the Frankenmuth area, there's a store called Bronner's, and this is like 365 days a year you're walking into fucking Christmas time, right? And so I've named this phenotype, even though it's not sticking around, the Bronner's cut. I guess it's not a cut, but the Bronner's phenotype.
Pheno.
And so this is the Bronner's pheno specifically, is the heavy pine. And I've been saying it's just like walking into Bronner's, man. You're like, whoa, there's a Christmas wreath. Whoa, there's a Christmas tree. And both phenos are pretty heavy on the pine, but the one is very specific. And the other one's got a nice little spice of Kush, which is really nice. But the Puro Loco is what I've been really having an edge on and the head on lately. So check with that. It's been a good one. On
Probably
those
because
growers out there.
you like the effect the most.
The effect, yeah. A lot of it is geared towards that fragrance for me, and I really like those funky rubber cannon beach ball. Cheers, Daddy Red. Those like those skunky. My mom says that like everything is very skunky to my mom. Like I could give her like strawberries and cream and like the cookies. Cookies are kind of cakey, skunky, but like like everything's skunk. So but I really like stuff like the flow that we run has a little skunky edge to it, but it's not so much on a cheesy spectrum. It's more on a lemon lime spectrum. You almost get that skunk in that lemon lime spectrum, also lime skunk and some of those other ones, but the haze effect wise gives me this feeling of energy, right? But it's more a feeling of, oh shit. And I don't know if it's what it is.
It's teetering on anxiety. I get what you're saying.
It's an anxiety type of feeling. This Puro Loco gets me to the point to where you can feel that in the back, coming up, but it almost makes me want to just get up and just put the joint down and start doing something. It's weird. It's like I get through halfway through the joint and I get completely distracted for what I'm doing. Like I'm feeling bored, so I'm smoking, and then I immediately go, fuck the joint. I need to go fucking do this other thing. And it's kind of a wild thing because otherwise I'd sit there and like smoke a whole joint of like Citrique and then maybe sit and be like, yeah, it's nice. I feel uplifted and euphoric, but it doesn't give me that like, it's like a panic. And maybe it is more anxiety. Maybe it's more anxiety boosting. Maybe it's the fact that it's pushing more panic into my system going, I got to get this shit done. Fuck, but I don't know. It's again, guys, sorry for the F-bombs. Mama Red. Cheers. Sorry about the F-bombs over here being a comedian. We just got back from the Fledge, so it's just been we've had 3 weekends straight of events, and 2 weekends ago was a double header. So we're on vacation for the next month, which means we're
Oh, I like that she said that so quiet, like just
preparing.
And so quickly too.
yeah.
She heard the
We'll
V
have to
word
call
and was
this
like,
something
nah,
else
bro.
before getting on the show.
Our version of vacation is work on the farm and
Put a brand new floor in our whole house.
put a brand new floor in our whole house.
Okay. Well, you have to do that. I can't do that.
Oh wow.
My stomach's just about getting everything.
Start pulling out carpet here in about an hour and a half.
Hooey.
Actually, I need to harvest still. I still have to finish my outdoor harvesting. We had a 29 degree low this morning. And that 29, I haven't gotten a chance to go out there and check everything out, but they've been fine down to 30 degrees the last, we've had a handful of frosts. We've had a half a dozen solid frosts. And I pulled most of what I want for flour last night. And what's left out there is kind of what I want for hash. So I guess I'm okay with letting it if it starts to hit a little bit of, a browning out, I'm okay as long as the trichomes are pretty much preserved. But that being said, I still want to smoke some of the flour. Still want to preserve some of it. And there's still some seeds in some of it too. So I don't want it to like totally die or mush. So hopefully we don't get any like really heavy freezes. I know it was supposed to be 29 degrees for like 3 hours this morning. Those other really cold mornings have been like hitting those lows for like an hour right before the sun comes up. The coldest part of the morning is right before the sun comes up. Something to do with that dew drop.
Drop until the sun warming up again. What's the
think
name of that? I can't think of that flower. I just talked to you about it today, right next to the front porch.
Calendula.
Your guys' calendula is fucking amazing because she popped the seed.
No, it's nasturtium. It's nasturtium.
Okay,
That's what it is.
nasturtium. She popped the seed of it in Illinois. And before she moved up here, I was like, dig that up.
Yeah, I ripped those out,
that's
threw them in a pot, and brought them over, and they sat in the driveway for a few weeks. And then I finally got to planting them and picking out the seeds and stuff that were forming on them. And I just threw a few extras I had next to the front porch in like this little spot, and it's got fresh
It's like,
flowers.
It's like
coming
literally
out.
frost and everything else everywhere, and like a lot of the oak leaves. Because there's oaks in the front yard. A lot of oak leaves are all like covering it up, but there's like one perfect fucking flower.
Very pale
One
compared
fucking
to the others.
little green leaf underneath. I was like, oh man, that's fucking beast moding it out here.
Ours did not survive the frost we had over here. They were not happy with it.
Well, when I planted it in the front, I put a bunch of leaves over it, so it like kind of grew up through the leaves, and so now it's just poking out, and I think that really helped.
Yeah, I bet that would. Yeah, ours are like, we put them in the front of our garden, like right where the fence is, and so they're pretty exposed to everything.
But it's funny
Yeah,
you said
Right by the
calendula.
house, so that's got more warmth to it.
It is funny you said calendula because our calendula has been very frost tolerant as well.
Oh,
We have
good.
big yellow flowers still out there. Like I hope there's still pollinators out there catching them, but they're some good flowers. Those still have flowers, and then from the last I saw just a couple days ago after a frost, one of our sunflowers was still wide open.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And we had some. I mean, these are late sunflowers. We planted them pretty late. We did sowing. When did you do that sowing? Like July, end of July, sometime like that. So we had some really late sunflowers pop up. So if you ever want some really nice late season colorful blooms, you don't just need to stick to those. What are those little plants? What are those orange and yellow plants?
Marigolds?
No, mums. The
Yeah,
fall.
mums.
Yeah, you don't have to just stick with mums. There's a lot of awesome flowers that can keep the pollinators active and keep your garden clean and healthy this time of year. So, you heard from Emily. There's the nasturtiums and then the calendula.
A lot of brassicas too. A lot of brassicas. You can get
Brassicas, dude, pop flowers like all winter too.
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
really cool one.
I
Radishes.
had canna lilies that were still blooming until I transferred them because I had
Yeah.
dug them up. I dug them up and put them in a big pot and just let them sit in there for probably about a month, and they started to reflower in the pot. And then when I brought them here and started to transfer them in the ground, they kind of died off all the flowers, and then it got a lot colder and stuff. So, but those were still blooming pretty late, even though it was starting to get chilly out. They were still blooming, I want to say maybe like 2-3 weeks ago before I had planted them.
Yeah, it stayed warm pretty late, I'd say. And
Got one more warm snap coming, I think, next week.
Yeah,
gonna
it's like
warm
it's
up
in
a
the
little bit.
70s, mid 70s again.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully for trick-or-treating, please.
Ooh,
Oh
that
no,
would-
it's gonna be cold and rainy on trick or treating, just like it is every year in Michigan. Welcome, New
Welcome.
Michigan.
Welcome to Michigan. That's how
Where-
that's authentic Halloween weather, man.
Yay!
Dreary and
It's cold and rainy on Halloween and warm and sunny on Christmas Day.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly.
I had a
No,
Halloween
first,
like
well,
2 years
Michigan-
ago where you could wear shorts. It was so hot out.
it is forecasted to rain on Halloween. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Parsley Town had trick or treat on last Thursday night already, so I don't know why they do it. They say it's more safer that way or whatever is what they say. I don't know.
But the 2 days before, it's 79 both days.
Of course.
There we go. I was talking about those 80 degrees or 80 degree, almost 80 degree, 50 degree plus swings. We have some crazy weather swings.
I feel like 40 is pretty standard for Michigan, honestly. Like,
40 lows or 40 degrees.
no, 40-degree swings in one day. I would say that's probably 100 days a year. Honestly, I mean, maybe not quite that many, but it feels like it's about 100
It's
days a
probably
year.
100 days a year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not unreasonable, I don't think.
I don't know. The winter time we stay pretty cold. The summertime we stay pretty hot. I suppose.
Yeah, but that's
we don't get
4
a
months out of the year.
Our,
The other 8 months are the swings.
our shoulder seasons, we have crazy swings.
Mhm.
He chewed off the legs of the toy. He couldn't
It's
contain
a
himself.
bubble now.
Poor ducky.
the bubble now.
Poor seagull.
Was a seagull.
No, it's just a bubble.
I think you mean beach chicken. That's the correct term.
No, it's just the chicken nugget. Sorry.
It is chicken. It's a chicken.
Doesn't have a nose.
No, don't call it a chicken. He already wants to eat the chickens.
Oh yeah.
We officially
You should bring him over and introduce him to the turkey that's living at my house now.
Probably like, oh, he gets.
It's big. I mean, it's
Guys,
We're kind of trying to calm him down.
We saw like
that
at
might
least,
do it.
we saw at least a 6 point, maybe 8 point buck run down the road. I was
Dude.
in the kitchen. I was like, babe, there's like a 6 or 8 point buck, a nice one.
And I'm
right up the
like,
window.
not even processing. I look out the window, and then it's just a fucking deer standing in the middle of the street where it tees. And I'm like, and I call my boy over, and I'm like, come here, hurry. And then the deer started moving down the street, and I'm like, never mind, we're going out the front door. And we all ran outside, and it literally was running down the street, and we like spooked it, so it like really quickly, and it booked it across into the field, and it was fucking wild.
Welcome to Michigan, where we have a car accident every 9 minutes because of deer.
Dude,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
I was telling Becca this on the way up to Lansing today. There was a lot of
Oh yeah.
94
Dead deer.
going
of-
west too. I can tell you that.
and it was all deer, like a lot of deer, dude.
I've never been that close to a deer before. That was incredible.
Really?
Yeah.
I've literally fed
Down there.
I've fed wild deer wasabi peas out of my hand before on a disc golf course. That's how crazy they are out here. They don't give a boo.
That's
I
incredible.
walked out of our shop. It's like, I don't know, 10 o'clock. It's fucking late, dark. You know, we're on a dirt road. It's like crickets and frogs and stuff. That's all you hear. And I'm like in my truck and I hear leaves crunching. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to look up and there's going to be a fucking buck staring at me and want to kick my ass. And I look up and there's a doe staring at me wanting to kick my ass. I was like, "Ah." It's big, dude. Like, I don't know, right not too far from my building, we got like a little rub the motherfucker and all kinds of stuff in there for her to eat. That's probably a good spot for me to sit and it's not enough land. What do you got there?
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm getting distracted by Nut Tree rubbing his kitties over here.
It's Black Cat Appreciation Day. It's raise awareness for black kitties is today, and the reason they started it was because the black kittens are less likely to get adopted at shelters than any other adopt. And that proves a point because I had these kittens. I had 7 kittens at a
You're not really
event.
selling them right now, bro. That is not.
What's that?
You're not
They're
really,
not really selling them, but they were born. They were also born on another day, August 17th, which is like a Black Cat Appreciation Day of some sorts too. There's like 2 days. But anyways, the event I was at, they all 4. I still have all 4 black cats. Yeah, so trying to get if anybody wants a black cat.
That's not the way this is going. That's not it.
I feel like they probably put that around Halloween specifically because like black cats are
Exactly.
like bad luck. So that's
They are, but that's all superstitious. That's all superstitious.
Ruben,
All super. And I'm not trying to. Becca said something earlier, like stop teasing me with the black cats. I'm not trying to tease anybody with any kittens. If you find yourself a good home,
If you have any
Just-
mice problems, he's got.
yeah,
some.
for sure. I've had a few go to a farm before
So-
already. They've
When I met Becca, she had a black cat and she had to foster it off to her roommate when she moved here because DOG wouldn't accept animals.
oh.
What about Ruben? Do you think he would be accepting of a cat?
Eventually, I think.
I mean, that young, that sprightly of a kitten would probably put him up the run for his money for a bit. Like he'd
a
probably.
lot of
it'd smack the shit out of him.
I think the
A lot
cat
of,
would be able to get away. I think the cat would be able to, kind of play enough.
problem is Ruben's a very loud barker and he's a very persistent barker. And
Oh,
Yeah, he doesn't mind chomping on motherfuckers if he wants to either.
I can see that kitten running under the couch and him barking at the couch for the next 4 days.
Gotcha.
Any
it
food.
was,
But-
Oh,
it was
and he-
usually known that it was usually known that sailors would have black cats along with them because if they had a black cat with them, it would keep the seas calm
Right.
to the sailors.
I'll think about that next time I'm on the sea,
Yep.
man.
It'd be-
Right. Well, okay. Can I just get a water bed? Is that
Keep the water.
why
bed
would you
full.
want a cat in a water bed? My Nana had a waterbed.
keep
My
it-
Nana had a waterbed, and she had to get rid of it because her cat poked holes in it, and then her entire bedroom.
My
That's
parents
how it
had
comes
my
to
parents
seas.
had a waterbed. I grew up on a waterbed, and until I was like, I don't know, Daddy Red fact checked me 3-4 years old when I took a clothespin and popped a bunch of holes and made the fountain of youth happen. I wanted to stay young. I was into the movie Peter Pan, wanted to be a lost boy forever. And well, the fountain of youth doesn't come out of a waterbed. A spanking comes out of pinholes in a waterbed, and a wet floor, and a flooded basement, and many other things that come after that. That
He
also come.
says 2.
I was like 2. Okay, so maybe a spanking wasn't in order, but I'm sure I got scolded.
Look at that memory, though. See, who says weed hurts your memory?
It was a
2
core
years
memory
old.
for him. He wanted that
That's
damn
his-
waterbed.
That's his core memory right there, Matt. Way back 2 years old.
I have those stupid.
I'm glad I do not remember being 2 years old.
Me
Yeah.
too. I am with you 100%. Thank God I don't remember what I was doing back then.
So moral of my story was just trying to raise awareness for Black Cat Appreciation Day, I guess, or Black Cat
Who's
Day.
not aware of a black cat, man? Everyone's aware of those evil bastards.
Yeah.
Especially this time of year when they're literally on photographs next to orange pumpkins going "Yeah," with their
They're out there just spreading their bad luck everywhere. Damn.
That's my
They're
curiosity.
not bad.
How much bad luck do the kittens come with if they're all black? Like, does it have to be a full grown cat to be a
0.
full 7 years of bad luck? Or
I don't know how that works.
if
I
you're
think,
the
I think if you turn around fast enough and walk backwards, it reverses it though, and you get some good luck.
what if you get the cat to walk
You
back?
got to moonwalk. You got to moonwalk backwards when they go.
That's always
Cross
walk
the
back.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me, and you're gonna have to really listen here because it's very quiet, but can you guys tell me what kind of cats I heard outside of my front door tonight?
Yeah, it was a cougar.
Is it gonna scare us?
That's what I'm waiting for.
You don't hear it?
No. Is it
No, it's
screaming like a child?
yeah, about 30 of them screaming like a child.
Oh wow.
What?
It was coyotes. Just
I get that here,
yapping
too.
so loud, man. And it sounded like they scored the turkey in my front yard. I'm like, no, she's still there. Henrietta's still chilling on the porch. But yeah,
That's
dude.
a frightening sound.
They're just having a union meeting.
yeah, union meeting. But I'll share another nature thing I got to experience today, and I know I'm pretty sure Red and Becca got to experience it too. How about that freaking sunset tonight, guys?
Oh, it was amazing. We were driving home. So amazing. In
I
our
was in Lansing.
view for half of it and off to our passenger view for half of it. So it was really nice.
Here's my shot.
I love driving. Yeah, Becca had
I
really,
like it.
That's pretty.
I
It
was,
really was.
was on the phone with Mama Red and the sunset was amazing. Yeah, dude. It was
Beautiful moment.
well, I don't know. We're always talking about this and that. So always a beautiful moment. I had somewhere to go with the whole black cat thing, but I really got sidetracked with the whole
Yeah, we should get one.
sailors and
We have a
and
mouse
water
problem.
beds. But
we have a mouse problem.
there's a mouse problem. We do catch mice. I have to take a
Need a
dead
cat.
mouse outside now that I'm reminded by that. Okay. Let's see.
Oh. I had a mouse problem at work. It set off the fucking alarm, and
That was not a mouse.
Yeah, that's fun.
rat, and it was fucking.
Large mouse.
It's insane because, for one, I didn't have my phone even in my room and I was sleeping, so I didn't get no calls. And then GML calls. I see that GML called me at like 4 a.m. I'm like, what the fuck? When I got up at like 9 or something, and it said something about that there's someone at the motion sensor inside the lobby went off, and that the cops were there, and I'm like, what? So I was like, well, it's the first time I heard this. I'm gonna head out there and take a look. So I go out there. And on the motion sensors, it has a video on it too. So whatever the motion sensors triggered, it takes like a 10, 15 second video. So I just opened that up because I have regular cameras too, but I checked those and I didn't see anything. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I don't see nothing. So, and I can do that with my phone, but so I went in there and was checking the motion sensor camera, and you see like a fucking nose of a fucking rat hanging down halfway from the top, and then it goes out the other way.
Jeez.
I'm like, motherfucker, all that fucking hassle for a fucking stupid.
Dude, I know what it's like to be in that position though. My dad would always be the guy to run down to the family business shop, if the alarm went off, to kind of like avoid getting charged by the police. It's like, all right, well, we can either send the police or you can go check it out, so he'd drag me down there in the middle of the night and we'd go check out what the, setting off alarms. Every time it was just like a crow got in, was like hanging out in the office, like, help me out, it's like, well, this is before cameras and like,
Yeah.
being able to check your phone or, before smartphones even, but yeah, that stuff doesn't show up on like that style, like your security camera. So you're not going to see like a mouse running or a rat, I guess, running across the bottom corner of your screen, but it will set off that motion detection,
Yeah.
So the cops are there and everything, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I guess.
Yeah. Well, good security system. That's
But
good.
yeah, they got there in 10 minutes, so that's impressive. So it's
Not bad.
everybody's gonna love hearing that story. They're gonna be like, yes, all right. So yeah,
Well,
that's
good.
good.
You didn't catch it yet, though, right?
Oh no, but it's gonna die.
Sounds like both you guys down there need to rent out some nut tree cats.
Oh no, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure it dies for sure. It doesn't. I don't need to bring more life. I just need to get rid of the life that's there.
Well, if there's
Or
one,
poison.
probably more than one.
Got a hole in the ceiling in the garage. It needs to be fixed.
But we got I've had cameras there for a while, and this is the first time it's been triggered. So there's probably one from outside. It's starting to get cold, trying to get in and get warm.
Mm-hmm.
Make some babies.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll find it. Berkshire says, "Don't use poison."
Yeah.
No, we use good old fashioned mechanical mouse traps.
Oh, you don't want a giant glue trap so they can just sit there and
No.
crawl across the floor
Yeah.
and
wanna be
screaming
able
at you in the middle of the night. And
That's
I want my mouse as organic as my food because that's what it's going to become.
yeah, well, I think a cat is about the most organic way to kill a mouse, if I'm honest with you. I'm
What
really
about-
trying to sell them, not true. You got to hop in here and
What
help
about
me
fire?
out, dude.
I think fire's pretty organic.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, a cat's probably more natural, but I still think a mechanical mousetrap's organic. I bet you could get that. Yeah,
There's
that would-
nothing organic about something that's metal and mechanical versus
well, no,
a cat.
the device isn't organic, but you're still not contaminating the mouse. So the mouse. is
Wait a minute. So I see Berkshire in chat saying that
USDA would allow it. It's just not soil building. That's all.
But I see Berkshire says if I poison the rat, that if it dies, I'll be poisoning cats or eagles or owls or whatever eats it. I'm still not seeing it down. This is selling it to me. Now this is making it sound like a good idea.
He wants
Is there
a
downside?
firewall encasing his property.
This is sounding better and better as we speak. Less things to fuck with my building.
True American wants to kill eagles.
Yeah, are they
Yeah,
really
what-
fucking with their building?
Oh God, I just want to sound like one of them.
Get off my lawn.
Forever.
This is just gonna poison my weed plants. My weed plants aren't anywhere near there, man. That's insane to even think that I have weed over there. You don't put all your eggs in one
See?
basket.
Something's under the couch. I told you that, and he's barking at something under the couch. That would be a black cat right now.
A black cat? Oh, it could be. I see.
Should be.
Ruben loses things under the couch and he'll just like
He's pushing toys.
The cat would get it out for him. Yeah. Or-
Hey, you're right.
There you
You're
go.
right.
See, now you got a nut tree.
he got the
He got the
squeaker out.
squeaker out.
They work together.
He
There-
tosses around just the squeaker. He'll just
Yeah.
toss it
He
around
just
himself.
throws it around.
That's how my dog is. She's like, I'm gonna surgically remove that squeaker out of whatever toy you buy me, just as if I was a freaking killer whale
All dogs are
eating a liver out of a shark. Like,
Oh my god, you're so right, dude. Every dog I've ever been around, they do that shit.
you gotta get that thing
I
out.
got two new toys with the squeaker, and I haven't gave them yet. I'm waiting to. I'm not gonna give them till
Oh.
I don't know when, but
I thought you were saying they get 2 new toys every time you give them a squeaker toy, because like the squeaker inside is the prize, but there's also the toy.
yeah,
you know, like-
true, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Gotten the squeaker and the fuzz out of all his toys, and he's just got pelt toys around. Yeah.
What's up, Tara? Welcome.
Cheers, guys.
How you doing?
Cheers,
Good.
Tara.
How are y'all? Miss y'all.
Abby. Miss you too.
Cheers.
Mrs. Tara.
Hey, just getting in from work. I'm ready to get high.
It's just dab time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you dabbing on, Tara?
Let's see. What did I get from Baked? I got some Papa
that's
Burger.
good.
I got some
Do
Funkified.
Papa. Papa's probably going to be the one you like the most.
I love the Papa. I love both, actually.
Yeah, that's what I had the Functified, except for he spells it Fundified on the.
Dude, okay. You guys kept saying functified, but I read it fundified, and then I'm like, did
Yeah,
am I
that's my bad.
dyslexic that
I know. I call it Funkified. I shouldn't. He calls it Fundified.
Wait,
no,
what is it?
no, it is Functified. You're right, Tara. It is Functified.
So
That
he
is
just
correct.
misspelled it, or
Yeah,
is that
he
what-
misspelled it.
okay? I didn't know if that's how he wanted it to be. I mean, trust me, I've been there. I've mislabeled, like, misspelled
Yeah.
things, but I didn't know if it was like just I don't know, some labeling error. I guess technically it was, but
Yeah.
good to know there's a K in there.
Yeah, he just omitted the K.
Dude, we're over here watching Ruben play with this thing. He literally he went from over by his toy box is like a ottoman thing that you can lift the lid up, and he tosses the toy underneath it, or he tosses the squeaker underneath it. So now he's trying to get it underneath, but he can get it on there. The first place he goes after he gets the squeaker is back over the couch, and is literally intentionally putting the squeaker under the couch so that he can fucking bark at it and kick it. And then get us to go fucking get it.
Yeah, it's part of the game, dude.
It's
I can't get underneath the couch anymore. It's weird being pregnant. My belly's big.
It just keeps you from doing some things, huh? Thank you, Becca.
Oh,
Too loud for me.
it went right under it.
All I see is butt.
Is
Two
it-
butt looking.
Wait, full plumber's crack, or is it actually out?
Just both butts, dog butt and
Butt and Derek's butt, just looking for the squeakers under the couch.
They make a good team.
What is
I think Ruben gets his personality from
Oh, 100%.
Ruben's crazy,
he
huh?
takes after his mother.
No.
He does actually take after his father.
Hold on though. Was the mother actually the red setter?
No, he takes after the father was the red setter, and that's definitely what he takes after. The dad was like bouncing around like Tigger. Boing, boing.
Oh, so that makes sense though. So yeah, our red setters matched.
It was nice. He wasn't bouncing on us. He was just bouncing around. It was a very but he was jumping and barking and like, hey, there's people here. Woof, 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 and like wouldn't sit still to be pet. That's Ruben. The mother came up to us and was like, hi, I'm a lovely golden retriever who loves to just be a nice, cute golden. And we're like, oh, that's going to be Ruben. Ruben's the dad. Ruben's for sure the dad. Ruben is,
So it's like us.
boing, 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 boing. Yeah, yeah. Boing, boing, boing.
Getting better. I've been trimming, and he I think he vacuums up all the sugar leaves that fall and just makes him extra feisty. And he likes coffee.
he likes coffee.
Like accidentally likes coffee. Like I'll just put my coffee cup down, and
Oh
he's
fuck!
within range. He's drinking it, and I don't mean like sipping it. He drinks the whole fucking cup.
He's like laughing it up.
Oh my god! I can't imagine Ruben on caffeine. Holy
Oh,
shit!
don't imagine it. It's a terrible thing to imagine. If you drink it 3 times, it comes through your mirror. Don't do it.
His zoomies are intense.
Wow! Yeah.
Dude. Somehow this ceramic mug is made from like ceramic from like the 1540s, where ceramic made of iron, and like and maybe the 1200s even. And so the ceramic mug fell off our balcony, and I'm downstairs out on the deck. First off, I'm looking for my coffee. I'm like, I knew I had it up here. Hadn't been downstairs, and looking around. We're doing some work yesterday, and I go out on the balcony where I smoked last. It's not out on the balcony, and even though I was out there with my coffee, and so I go downstairs to let Ruben out, and my coffee mug's sitting on the deck. You know, and there's like no coffee. There's like a little dribble of coffee coming out of the cup. Cup's on its side, dribble of coffee. Just, I mean, like a you know, like not what I had in there. And I'm looking for a puddle. I'm looking for, you know, the cream, the stuff, you know. And I go back upstairs and I look on the railing where I had the coffee, and it's sure enough, dude, it was him that spilled it up here. Knocked it off. I mean, that thing fell 15 feet in like hardwood and didn't break. I mean, it's
The yellow one?
yeah, that one from like the 1200s. I mean, the iron ceramic, and
Certainly not from the 1200s.
well, it's from the 1960s, 1980s, probably 1980s or something. But either whatever year, I don't fucking know, dude. But it's a beast of a ceramic mug, that's for sure.
So he's after the creamer then, probably. Sounds like.
Yeah, I think he's going for that fat. I really think that he's like just wanting that cream, and then
I think he's a fiend for coffee.
I think he's like, oh, that's that effect. Similarly, he likes to go after my joints and roaches, and he doesn't like go after them if they're put up and out of the way. Only if I'm holding on to him, or that's like in my mouth or something, he'll want to go after
He just
it.
go slow, like just try to slowly creep to it.
But he's gotten really good about like staying away from our things that are just laying around.
So like he's hunting it, like he's like slowly.
Bit out a roach for me the other day though.
Really?
Yeah. No, I mean I walked off to the bathroom. We have this ashtray right here. This thing's super cool. It's just like this little like cup. So like you just put your ashtray on, then you just lift the thing, and then the roach just disappears. You know, it goes inside. It's not sitting in your ashtray. It is, but it's not. You know. And then we dump this out occasionally. And Becca's dad got this. Where'd you get this? Like,
Jamaica.
Yeah, from Jamaica. So it's fucking really nice, cool little piece of pottery, you know. And I just dump fucking ashes and shit? No, I don't think so. I don't know. Whatever. I might have.
Keep going.
Either way, okay. So I set it down. I got like, I don't know, like a half a joint. I set it down, go to the bathroom, and I'm thinking to myself, fuck, I just set that half a joint down on the table. So I run back in here really quick to get it, and it's gone. And Ruben's like, I'm like, no, drop it, you know. And he's like, not wanting to, and I like kind of gave him the thing, and then held up the remote, and I was, drop it, and he just spit it out, and I was like, okay, all right. So unfortunately, he's trained the remote more than he's trained. He knows what words mean and stuff, but I think he knows more what the remote means. So we've got a long way with training, but there's progress, right?
Progress, yeah.
Like 2 steps ahead, 1 step backwards, you know, but still some progress. He's not completely you know what, being a bad dog. Deliberately.
He wants what he knows.
Just a puppy.
Yeah.
Baby.
He's like he does it intentionally to just kind of like either it's
They do. They always fucking do.
attention. He knows right from wrong mostly.
They're smart.
He's about to turn a year old. He's like a week and a half away.
That is the truth. Yeah.
November 8th is his birthday.
Oh.
Shout out to Eagle and Smiley.
Gonna
Oh,
be
I
a
guess
big
that's
boy.
the Smiley half. Here's the Eagle and Smiley half.
Well,
Shout out
yeah,
to
but-
you.
That's cool.
Clickers.
Who did the artwork on that? Who drew that?
I don't remember. I wonder if
I
it's
thought it wasn't it Kazoo?
Kazoo. It's totally
Kazoo.
Kazoo.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was Kazoo.
Yes, it is Kazoo.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I have that same mug in there.
Yep, I got it too.
Yeah, Eagle's badass for hooking us up with these.
Yep. I got a couple actually. I've got that one and then a different version too.
Mugs always come in handy. It's a smart gift.
Heck yeah.
Like, yeah. Coffee, tea, soup, stew,
Ice cream.
cereal, ice cream. It's all around.
You know, speaking of gifts, we talked about Third Eye Craft for a little bit. We didn't get a chance to talk about last weekend's event. We weren't on last weekend, so thank you all for coming back after our break. We were at Gems and Genetics. Spartan, you guys were at Gems, and you were there with Trichome Forge baked out there. So you had some seeds out and stuff. How was your experience with Gems and Genetics? We had a good old fashioned time.
I had a good time out there at Gems and Genetics. We didn't. It was one of the 1-day events, and so we didn't stay super long. They had. I'm sure it was way more fun. For I don't know, because I think I would still want to vend. I don't think I would want to stop vending. I don't know what you guys did, but when like the X came on, I think that would have been cool to check some of those out. But no, we jetted out of there right when that stuff was getting ready to start. I think it was around 8 o'clock. I think. And it started getting cold. It started getting really cold. I had my Sherpa line.
We had frost. There's like a thin layer of like ice on the top of our canopy when we were closing up. And it was like, it was time to close up.
But yeah, we had a good time. It was cool meeting it seems like you get a few of the regulars, and then you always meet new people too, and that's cool. And that goes for the same for vendors. Like the person we vended next to, they were across from us, and he came over and said, "Hey, it's good to see you guys again." So it's cool. Just the community of the vendors alone, kind of a thing, is another like cool part of that. And they all seem to be caregivers. There was a couple metric tents there, but they didn't have product, so I respect them enough for that. I'm kind of like staying in your own kind of lane as long as you're not here with product, I guess, whatever. But
somebody was walking around with like, well, some people thought it was like, you know, police or something, but
I've heard that. But yeah, I don't know.
It could have also been CRA walking around checking licensees and making sure that they're not selling weed. You know,
or it could have been somebody who's just a fucking wants to be influencer, or is an influencer, or has a social media page with a fucking GoPro on their chest. I mean,
I could see CRA walking through those places and making sure no licensees are selling anything. Like they can't do anything about the event, but they could do something about the licensees, because if they're selling something, they can shut them down.
Oh, absolutely. But I think that they're not really. Maybe they're worried about that, but they want the big busts. They're looking for the giant fucking
metric,
giant weight. Yeah, that's the ones they're after. I think mostly.
Who, the CRA?
CRA. They're after the CRA is actually mostly after. They're mostly after just wanting to enforce the rules on the commercial side.
CRA is not going after people with a bunch of pounds on their table. That'd be the state police.
No, you guys are missing what I'm saying. I'm saying that because there's licensees at these events, the CRA is showing up to make sure licensees are not selling weed.
No, I understand that.
They don't give a shit about the people with pounds on the tables. They're not. That's
right.
Not addiction.
Right. Yeah, that's the Michigan State Police that would.
Right. And the Michigan State Police doesn't carry there because it's only a few pounds.
Well, as long as it's not more than 5 kilograms, that seems to be their target. Minimum.
Which is also pretty much caregiver legal limits. You know.
Yeah, it's a different, I think, level of felony is really what it is. It's 5 to 25 kilograms or something. But hey, here's some wasabi, guys. Check this out.
Okay.
Yeah, I called it wasabi. It's not wasabi. I don't know if there's a strain called wasabi. If there is, I'm sorry. But I had a fun experience making this one that I'll probably never be able to recreate, because I took a good amount of squirt, and a good chunk of garlic punch, and threw a little lime skunk in there, and a little leftover biscotti pie in there. And when I took my first dab of it, I could taste the biscotti pie right away, which I was surprised about, that I kind of overtook the other terps. But it wasn't for long, because it immediately moved up to the bridge of my nose, like you guys sometimes experience with like certain dabs. It was just way high in my nose, right? That kind of like stinging, like whatever weird feeling up there. And then all of a sudden I sneezed. And then I sneezed again. And then I sneezed a third time. And I'm not one to like multiple sneeze like that. I know some people like every time they sneeze 2 or 3 times, every time they sneeze or whatever. There you go. I'm not sure he's one of those guys. I'm not one of those guys, but I sneezed 3 times in a row. And I looked at Masupat, Mrs. Frigoli, and I'm just like, this feels like I just ate a sushi with a ton of wasabi on it or something, just a big old glob of wasabi. And it was just like face sweating, arms sweats, like what's going on here? So much pressure in my nose. I was like, I'm just going to call it wasabi, because that is exactly how it felt to me. So cheers, guys. It's dab time.
I really wanted to come and check that out, and I just absolutely did not get a chance. We were underestimating the amount of activity that there was going to be at that door today, and we had people right by the door, so we were full of activity.
You guys get a lot of. I felt that cold coming in from where I was. I gotta imagine you guys were
not going to be a good spot in the middle of winter, so I might have to wait.
You're gonna have to get a couple floor heaters or something under the tent.
We're normally at that spot right next to where you were.
Right. And I'm sorry, I tried.
There. Oh, it's whatever. I mean, it seemed like those guys were pretty new there anyway. So
Nate also said he was sorry.
Oh yeah, it's fine. I'm sure that they were gonna try. We have a regular spot. Not that it's saved or anything. We just get to a regular spot every time we get there, and kind of everybody kind of has. Now that it's like, since it's been like pretty regular of the same vendors, everybody kind of has their own regular little spot that they go. And then every now and then, somebody new comes in and gets there a little early and throws up in somebody's spot, kind of like throw the wrench in the gears, and everybody's like panicked. I don't know where to go now, and like everybody's moving tables. It turns into a weird random clusterfuck somehow. But anyways, great event nonetheless. I enjoy being by the door. It's hit and miss. Some people walk straight past the first few tables at the door just because they might want to come back to them, or just just not something to see. Want to go to the back first. And I used to go hit the rides at the back of the amusement park because there was no crowd back there. So there could be a thing like that too. Hey, there's no crowd at the back of the fucking party. Let's go back there first. But yeah, man, so it can be hit and miss, but it's cold.
Luckily, those people though that walked past us usually all come back.
Yeah, they got to leave at some point. So
yeah, I was gonna say they got to go out the same way they came in.
Unfortunately,
but
they probably don't have to.
Yeah. I'm making it sound like there's one way in and one way out. It's not the way it is.
There is a fire exit if you need to use it.
Yeah, there are multiple doors.
You go out the entrance the way you came in. Come on back by our booth. Say goodbye. So we can
for security reasons, though, it's ideal to just rotate through the horseshoe.
A lot of good people that come through there, man. God, I want to shout out everybody, but I don't
I'm gonna fucking jump right in front of you. Skirt. Do you guys grow rainbow sherbet?
Like RS?
No, we don't. We have a bunch of rainbow belts in flower.
Rainbow belts. Okay, I knew you had something rainbow over
Rainbow
there.
Driver has been in the garden for a long time.
That's what it is. Okay, I knew it was Rainbow Driver.
Rainbow Driver won 3rd place at Hash Apocalypse 2 years ago.
And it's a fire strain, and right next to you guys, across from me, was 321 Genetics, and I'm jumping on the shout out train before you, Ken Red. Sorry, but I want to shout out 321 Genetics for today because he's always breeding new stuff and growing new stuff and pheno hunting and making those decisions, as hard as it is to sometimes make the cut, if you will. But there was a new strain on his table today, or at least new to me, that I absolutely fell in love with. It reminded me a lot of Cobra Milk. It gave me a lot of that like milky cereal, fruity kind of Pebbles flavor. And when I saw it, it immediately made me think of you, Red, because I'm like, I know he's got something rainbow. What is it? Rainbow, something rainbow, you know? I'm glad that it's not Rainbow Driver because this is different. It'd be weird if it was the same strain, I think. But it's Rainbow Sherbet. And he said, I heard you, Becca, just say something about RS11. That apparently is like the go-to cut, he was saying. But he thinks this beats it out. And I don't have experience with RS11. But guys, this Rainbow Sherbet from 321 Genetics is so stinking smelly good. I'm so excited about this.
For a minute, it's so pretty.
I mean, look at that. He crushes everything he grows, but this is very different from, I think, at least terp profile from what he grows for the most part. He's definitely on that like pie, cap, meat breath, like that kind of like flavor profile. A lot of like those kind of squatty indica plants, if you will, but a lot of super terpy and super frosty and super dense fat nug kind of style plants, right? This just, when I opened the jar, I'm like, dude, stop it. I want to blast this so bad.
Rainbow Sherbet's a good one. It's definitely always gets my attention.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to hear you say that.
Heck yeah, I love Sherb. Sherb, love it, love it, love it.
Okay, because this reminds me of that lane of cherry. Not because it smells like cherry, but it's got that soft fruit flavor. When I think of a lot of those cherry strains, I think soft fruit is the way I described it. And that's how I describe this one, as a soft fruit. Now
you're making it sound very good. Very good.
Dude, I can't wait to smoke it. I can't believe I haven't rolled any of this up.
I can't believe you haven't.
For my nose for the rest of the night, just like this. I like the terps, guys.
We just harvested GG4, so I couldn't keep my fingers off of that the other night. Waiting for it to hurry up and dry. Hurry up and dry. Hurry up and dry.
GG4 is always a good one, that's for sure.
Seriously.
I forgot I hadn't seen you in a while for Growly. We've had a whole line of new shit on our table.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Speaking of that, I've gotten some of that. The Delato is hands down my favorite.
What number did I give you? Did it say on the bag?
Let's see if it says on the bag.
Delato.
4.
Okay, because I pulled a keeper, so I started to just not label it once I started running out of stock.
Okay. Yeah, you gave me 4, and it's super great. So whichever one you decide, I'm sure will be delicious. But this one's really nice.
There's another one coming down in about a month or so, and so I'm still haven't made a final selection. So I still have a ways to go. Unfortunately, our pheno hunt went staggered. Based on just like the size of some stuff and the need of flower, and so some things got held back based on size, and the things that were bigger, there's like our Durban Margie we harvest, we harvested last round. We've already had another round come down, and then we'll have another Durban Margie coming. So there's like 2.
And
Golden Goat was another one that we hadn't even gotten in. So it's really cool is we have a Golden Goat that's very similar to Citrique, which is the lime skunk. And so it might even be more lime than the Citrique. And I didn't think the Golden Goat was going to go there because the other Golden Goat that we had was more haze, more of like this nice sweet chew haze, like a cashew or like a sweet nut, but not like an almond, not something with like the flavor, more something with like maybe like a pecan, cashew. I like cashew is kind of where my mind goes for it. It's kind of earthy, kind of woody, kind of like that dull tone kind of hits you down here, on the low end. its counterpart definitely hits you up here in the high end. But the effects I haven't even tried on the lime one. And I don't even know if the one indoor is going to be as lime, because this is, I'm talking about from outside, that got so lime. And I just got it from a finger rub, little bud rub.
Shout out to G-Bay in chat. Good to see you, buddy. He says Day Natural Preserves has some good lime in their line. So if you're searching for lime,
I grew out actually some of his Black Lime Reserve back cross, and they turned out to be both males, so I cut them, but they were smelling limey and stinky from veg when I first flipped to flower until they started showing sex. So I haven't grown on any more of his genetics from those, but
Okay, so we are 4 days from November. We have less than 2 months, well, just over 2 months, I should say, of this year. I know on the Variables podcast, we made some predictions earlier this year on what we thought was going to be the flavor of the year, if you will. I don't think anyone said lime. I'm pretty sure I said cherry, but it seems like, based on the discussions we've had in the last few weeks, if not months, it seems like lime is a pretty popular flavor this year.
yeah.
I've heard that from people saying that lots of people have limes, lots of lime options are showing up.
The lemons certainly are. Like the lemon G, lemon tree, like that stuff is popping up into a lot of genetics. There's a lot of lemons.
A lot of gelatos.
I've seen a lot of gelatos.
Yeah, I'm
A lot
still
of
seeing
gelatos.
more cake. I'm still seeing more cakey.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of these crosses that I got from Archive, I was thinking were going to be all kinds of different. They're all the same. They're all very cakey. All the Moonbow stuff, which I was surprised. I was expecting it to be a little bit more sharp in the skunk department, but it's not. One of them was. I don't know. I still got to run through. I guess I don't know. I guess because the Puro Locos are more skunky, so I guess it is coming through. It's just I don't know what's hitting recessive on these.
I wonder if there's a cycle, like a repetitive cycle of flavor profiles that work itself throughout the market. I think that there's probably a lot of influencing factors there, like, you know, the hype and things that follow certain strains and the marketability and whatnot. But I do wonder if there's, you know, if it's like every 7 years, lime or citrus or tangy or whatever, like comes back around. Every 7 years, Kush comes, you know, I wonder if there's like a certain time frame there, because we certainly we're creating new flavor profiles for sure. And we're discovering new things constantly. But it does seem like there's these staples that we always come back to.
I think it's going to be the Mendo. It's going to be the perp, but not the Purple Punch perp, because everybody realizes the Purple Punch doesn't get you high, and now everybody thinks that Purple Weed doesn't get you high. But that's just because there's a lot of nuance, artificial. I shouldn't say artificial, but like not true Purple Weed, more or less like pretty Purple Weed, but it's just candy gas. Doesn't have the terpene profiles, the humulene, the terpenylene, the pinene, and the myrcene, like Mendo pulls.
I can see the perps coming back.
Our granddaddy's like top popularity right now.
Yeah.
People are loving
And it's the lowest potency on the table, you know. And I mean, there's not numbers shown on the table, but these are people coming back for Granddaddy about other stuff. And so, and there's a reason I've had it since 2015, and the reason that the person who held it before me wouldn't get rid of it, and that he was so stern when he said it's not Ken's Granddaddy Purple. That's not Ken's. And so I was like, okay. Not so much taken back, but surprised that there was maybe some sort of a lore in there. And there is, because if you're at a Grateful Dead show or you're in the lot, you smell this like Mendo Bubba. Smell this pine, like pine tar, and like it's almost like a fruity kerosene. Fruity kerosene, I think, is a better way to put it. But there is this like piney kush thing going on, skunk thing going on in there. And like there was a really good interview, I think, on FCP2. Am I saying that right? FCP2. With somebody about the Mendo line. It was pretty interesting to hear because I don't know a whole lot of the history on the purple that we have. I just know who we got it from and its characteristics and where it came from and its lore. But as far as like the Ken's line, that was something that he worked through, I think, probably through some Mendo or something. But like, I think it's coming back around because a lot of people are trying to put work into Granddaddy Purple lines.
You might be right, man. Because speaking of 321, I talked to him, and one of his, I think it's a newer strain that he's got on his table was, I'm gonna script the name because I just remember that the lineage, one of the parents was Grape Gas, and I couldn't for the life of me remember Granddaddy Purple. I kept trying to think. Like I knew it's like GFD. It's like
Urkel would be in that line. The purple Urkel, the purple Kush, the Granddaddy Purple, the Mendo Purple. Well, really, it all kind of came out of the Mendo Purple. Really cool story, man. Like some bag seed type shit from some dude. Like some dude gave some dude some seeds. The dude grew them out and was like, hey, this is like some fire purple. And the dude that gave them to him was like, oops, I gave you the wrong seeds. But they were like seeds from like the late 70s. It was like some late 70s stash. And he got a couple of them to pop. And then one of those cuts ended up going around as the Mendo. There was a few of them that went around as the Mendo or something. Two of them, maybe they went around. And so, yeah, I don't know. And then I guess through the lineage, it gets worked with the Urkel, it gets worked with the Granddaddy, it gets worked with this, that, and the other. And then Ken Estes, he does some work with it, creates a Granddaddy Purple. So there's actually a couple Granddaddy Purples. There's a NorCal Granddaddy Purple, which I think is the one that we have. I'm pretty sure that we have the NorCal. We have the clone only Grand. We have the one that was never released in seeds stock, whatever that means. And then it was some, I don't know, whoever got it in Michigan or got it to Michigan paid $2,000 or $2,500 for it back in however long, like the late early 2000s. I started getting it for a patient because it was the only thing that helped his eyes. I've told the story a dozen times on here, so I won't bash your ears with that one again. But I saw something in it medicinally, and I started moving it for patients from these guys. So I've been handling this since like 2010, 2011, however deep these genetics go back. No, I'm sorry, probably 2012, about 2011, 2012. And I started handling those genetics. And then I acquired them in like 2015. And then about a year later, the guy who was holding the genetics for the longest, I used to get it from, he passed away. And so for a long time, I held the genetics just because it was like his favorite genetics. He wasn't around anymore type of thing. And then over the years, it's just continued to remain that stable in the garden. And it's just unlike any of the other flowers in the garden, not just based on profile, but the way it grows. It's not the biggest yielder. But then again, I grew it this year and it got really big. But it's even outside, and you'd say that, penetration from like HPS versus LED, right? Whatever the metrics are, 2 feet versus 4 feet or 18 inches versus 2 feet, whatever it is. This GDP under the sun outside, only the top like 6 or 8 inches of the plant were thick. Everything else was a fucking twig underneath that. You know what I mean? Little tiny, tiny nub. I mean, it only gets these top colas, The bottom of the plant is larf. All bottom of the plant is larf. And
is that dependent on how many tops there are, or is that just regardless?
No, it's regardless. Okay. Inside, outside, like.
What if you have under canopy lighting?
Grows a lot. It probably, maybe, if I don't know, if the sun, I imagine doing.
Use code Spartan.
Save 10%.
I just don't think it likes to grow. I think it's a self-preservation thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just like because it knows that it's not going to get. It's so dense and thick, full of foliage is the thing. Maybe that has to do with it. It's just so leafy. But it has that classic like indica leaf. It's like the Afghan style plant, which really wasn't supposed to have come over here until like the 90s or something like that, late 70s and 90s, because it really wasn't until our soldiers were going over there to get it. A lot of the other stuff that came over here was coming over here through the trade through like the South, and it was coming up through the South. We weren't getting stuff imported from like Afghanistan because they didn't export flour. They exported hash. You know what I mean? So to get bag seed from Afghanistan, you had to go over there to get it and bring the seeds back. So it was come through the hippie trades through the late 60s, bringing stuff back to Cali and then out to Amsterdam, or it came through during the early Afghan phase when soldiers were going for the oil wars. So one or the other, and it's hard to say which and when. They probably through both, probably a little bit of both. I'm sure that there was those farmers trading back in the last 60, 70 years, all that time. But those are some cool genetics coming from that part of the world, man. Especially those high altitudes, the deep anthocyanins, not a heavy hitter as far as THC, but there's something else going on in there. And I'd love for like full panel expression tests to be done on those genetics, not just the terpene wise, but like the cannabinoid, to see like, is there rare cannabinoids in these genetics? Are these ancient genetics that have been cultivated for, you know, medicine for thousands of years, something like that going on? And super interesting stuff because it's incredibly tacky and hashy, but it doesn't drop trichomes, but it makes good hash. It just takes a lot of plant material to make the hash. So super good stuff. I think it's going to make a comeback. I've just seen a lot of people doing breeding.
Well, now you can do fields of it. You can imagine doing CBD hash. Like, just do it back like they did old days, man. Just grow a whole fucking field of it.
Yeah.
You can have all the material you need.
We put the Granddaddy to our CBD. We have some of those Granddaddies. Some people grew them out and turned out really nice, but we're doing the Granddaddy Blue Steel now. I had a name for it too, and I fucking forgot it.
Oh, no. Blue Steel, because I'm sure that's something famous that I just don't know what it is.
Blue Steel is the cube.
No, I'm not talking about the genetics. I'm talking about Blue Steel, the reference of the name.
You know, I don't know. To me, it sounds like a motorcycle or something.
Oh, I thought it was like a movie or something.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me as a movie.
There's a movie. Blue Steel.
Did we do this 2 weeks ago?
Oh, it's the Moving Zoolander.
Yes. There you
go.
Oh,
that's why
I've never seen Zoolander.
Me either.
Okay.
So I guess that's Blue Steel. Is that his name?
No, that's like his famous.
That's the move.
Oh, it's the move.
He's a model.
Oh, okay. I'm
And he
thinking
gives the Blue Steel.
I'm glad I didn't know that.
Blue Steel.
After learning that.
Magnum Melts uses the Ben Stiller
I need to watch
that
it. It's a classic. The amount of movies that I have not watched. I don't give a fuck if it's a classic.
Sorry, Red. After learning what Blue Steel is, I can't think of a name. I'm sorry.
No, I had one, and it's I'll
Iron Daddy.
No, it was Grandma Indigo. That's what it was. Grandma Indigo.
Okay.
Yeah. Grandma Indigo.
That sounds cooler than Blue Steel now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma Indigo. What do you guys think?
What you want to do when you're breeding things, man, is you want to improve what you're using, right? Your whole goal is to be better than what you're putting in.
I mean, it's a granddaddy, but it's a female plant, so it's slightly, I don't know.
I've always been anti naming male names in your female plants. I think that's.
I mean, we're in like the era of no gender though, so I mean, maybe it just get rid of the whole like, you know, grandma.
Maybe you're in that era, Red. I haven't really approached that era myself.
I'm here, man. I'm right here.
I'm pretty open when it comes to people, but the plant, we have male and female around here when it comes to a
Grandma
plant.
Indigo it is.
Hey, sometimes those plants go both ways. Not that you want them to, but they can.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do.
We're not encouraging it. I mean, when it comes
No.
to plants.
Yeah, I've got on my flower room door. I have a sign on the door. It says "Ladies Only." It's pretty clear what I'm after. I'm very upfront with my plants. I let them know what I'm after.
Definitely got boundaries set.
Exactly.
My I have a similar sign in my lab. It says no smoking.
So somebody was asking about our seeds, and you know we call them regular. I call them regular seeds because there's males and females. They call them not gendered seeds.
What?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they weren't feminized.
You have to throw a gender reveal party every time you pop one, though.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was a new
goodness.
word for me. It was a new meaning. It was a younger cat, so I'm like, this is from the younger generation thing. So
I like it. Non-gendered or feminized. That's
they're
cool.
not. Well, they're not feminized is the thing, right? They're not
Right.
feminized, so then they're not gendered, right? So then they must be both.
Yeah,
gendered.
regular.
How about you just call them non-feminized?
Yeah, and then
How about you call them not? No, I'm not gonna say it.
I'm calling whatever
Seeds?
I call them whatever the customer's calling them. If the customer wants to call them fairy beans or devil dongs, or if they want to call them screws, they call them blue screws. I'll get you a whole bag of blue screws for all you want, dude. You're the customer. That's
Birdseed. It's birdseed.
It's bird
I'll say
seed.
I got regular seeds.
Novelty items.
Regular.
Novelty.
I like devil balls. I mean, wait, what did I say? Devil. I've
Devil
never been-
dongs, but
Devil dongs. Yeah, devil dongs.
That's
Well,
strange that they call them.
beans.
close to double dongs.
Devil's lettuce. Devil dog.
Double dong. Double dong sounds worse. Okay, we're off
Well,
that.
that's what
Did
it
you say
sounds like,
double
you know.
dongs? Is that where we're at now?
Yep. Welcome to the late sesh.
We have gone there.
I mean, we got to go ever so slightly. It was only a week before I get to stop getting these phone calls. I mean, I got to enjoy these.
You're on vacation. You're on vacation.
I'm getting these phone calls for the next week, 2 weeks, you know, and text messages.
Oh
All
my god.
My
dude.
name is Nazrul. I think it's Nazrul, and my name is Forebear. I think is another one of my names, and another one is Yet.
Yet.
You are signed up for this. Okay, I guess I am Yet, and
Sweet.
I'm not going to call your phone number back, but we only got a week left, guys. So just get it in while the getting's good. That's time
I think I just realized what you're talking about.
It's the best time of the quad year right now. You got one more week to live it, so enjoy it.
Nobody ever knows what you're talking about.
Fuck you.
Mostly in tongues. You have to figure it out.
yeah, you gotta,
Speaking
dodge
in
and
riddles,
weave
guys.
and bob
Speaking
it.
in riddles.
I can't wait for the elections to be over.
What are we talking about?
I'm so tired of getting mail.
The amount of postcards I get right now.
Hey,
Yeah, it's too
The
damn high.
translator.
Well, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. So I get a lot of mail about that. I don't know why.
No, I'm officially not voting for any candidate that has sent me a paper pamphlet.
That's exactly the stance I've had. I said for
If you
anyone
send
who
me
bugs
a paper pamphlet more than one time, I'm done voting for you. So
I
if that
gotta-
means I'm not voting for anybody, I guess I don't vote for anybody because I'm voting against waste, and that's all very wasteful.
if I get a phone call, I'm like, who paid for this? Okay, thank you. That's all I need to know. You made the list,
Telling me
motherfucker.
who did not vote for it. Somebody like got the messages back that sent me the messages because that's what I would just like. All right, thank you for telling me who to not vote for by sending me for taking up my time. I'm not vote for you, not vote for you, not vote for you.
Yeah.
I'll vote for the person who's just over there being silent. It's Mickey Mouse. No, that's wrong. I don't want to vote for that either. I guess. Okay. I vote for you, chat. I vote for you. I vote for you
Vote
to.
for cannabis freedom.
That's it. Yep. To vote for cannabis freedom. Wait a minute. No, you can't even say that either because that might sound one-sided or the other sided. Oh, geez.
Well, I was
I'm
just
okay.
gonna
I'm
ask.
okay to
now
set
that you-
one-sided. I am weed-sided, so that's cool.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're I've met one issue voters in my lifetime, whether it be, I don't know, pick your issue, right? And they only vote on the candidate based on that one issue. I think that's a little wild. It's a pretty extreme take, in my opinion. But let's just say you are a one issue voter, and that one issue is cannabis. I don't know if that means the regulation, taxation, and distribution, if it means the deregulation of it, whatever cannabis freedom looks like to you, right? Which candidate are you voting for? Is there even an answer there if you're a one issue voter and your issue is cannabis? Do either of these candidates represent those views? I'm asking because I honestly, truly don't know. I think they have danced around this issue since before Obama, or at least since Obama's been in office. He laughed about it then, and I think that's kind of pretty much the take it gets at the federal level for a lot of different reasons, probably money being number one. But I mean, do either of these candidates have a stance really on it? I mean, maybe we don't even want to fucking go down this road, but there he goes. He said, nope, I don't want to go down this road.
I know what you're saying, and definitely not on a political level. There's
it used to be one party. We all know it used to be the one party. But that has anyone done anything about it? You know, like
both. I think that both sides are more willing to go the legalization, taxation, and support whatever business
regulation.
Yeah, whatever businesses are going to be writing those regulations. I don't think that our interest is in either of those parties. I think that it's within some sort of whichever party can agree on a abolishing the I'm having a brain fart here. The schedule. What is the scheduling?
Yeah,
what is that thing called? The Controlled Substances Act. That whole thing alone needs to be reworked completely. The scheduling, these different classifications of drugs. Basically, what you have is what is pharma allowed to have and what is pharma not allowed to have. Like that's basically your classifications. Is pharma allowed to use it? And if so, is anybody else allowed to use it? And if not, well, we're going to give penalties, which include prison, and none of that makes sense. Prison shouldn't be, as for possession of any of those things, prison shouldn't be. As for even distribution of a lot of those things. Now, when you start getting into talking about what other crimes are being committed, because I get on that with a handful of these things, there's for some reason, freedom of speech is polarizing right now. And I get it on both levels and what you're talking about. And I get it where the side of freedom of speech is harmful to some. And I'm not going to say that freedom of speech is harmful. Okay. Just don't start combating me. What I'm saying is I understand where the one side's coming from, but I don't understand where they're coming from. Right. Because there's a side, there's a thing, right? So the sides, I think, saying that words are harmful, but I don't think that they're looking at. I think that they're looking at it as a blanket statement. Words are harmful. They're not looking at actions as being harmful. So I think that speech is not harmful. It is, does the speech cause another law to be does the speech create? What does it cause? What is it?
It's yelling fire in a crowded movie theater, right? That's the example they always give. That's actually illegal.
That's actually something that can cause harm, right? And not. And then there's the other side that's sticks and stones will break your bones. Words can only hurt me.
Right. That's how we grew up, right?
Actually, words can only hurt you unless somebody's saying kill this person. And I probably shouldn't have said that. That's probably gonna get our show flagged. Fuck. But I can say fuck. So anyway, fuck. Maybe that'll stop that whole thing. So you know what I mean? Like there is an area where it's harmful to use speech. And I don't think that that's free speech. I think that's harmful, violent speech. I don't think that's free speech. I think that there should be a line there, so that's a polarizing thing, as well as and I think that what we have going on is we have people with a lot of similar opinion. A lot of us are very much the same. We all agree on the same shit. We just have a difference of really a lot of times it's semantics and how we understand things, because a lot of things are presented by places of not real education. Like a lot of us get our information from places like the media, from journalists aren't educators. They're just regurgitating information, and there's nothing educating coming from a journalist. So it all depends on where you're getting your information, for one. And then the other is, propaganda. How much of it is that? How much of it is making you want to do things like the wild one is like this whole like closed loop food sickness pharma thing, and for one political side to acknowledge that and the other one to not acknowledge that is beyond me. I don't understand that one. That's like kind of beyond where that is like a bipartisan thing to me completely. We're talking about food, we're talking about health and wellness. I don't know how it got flipped to one side and the other. Like, it seems like politics have reversed themselves 4 or 5 times in the last 20. That's why, like, honestly, if you're calling it right wing, left wing, there are two wings to the same bird. You know what I mean? If that's the case, if they are wings, well, they're flying the same bird. So I do think that both sides have their paid things going on. I think that what we have going on is one side's leaning technology and one side is leaning maybe money. I don't know, but I think that both sides have their interests, and I think that both sides, as far as cannabis goes, I think that their interests are those loyal lobbyists that have been writing the laws all the time. And unless we actually abolish a Controlled Substances Act, which in order to do that would take an act of Congress. And any of the shit that both candidates talk about takes an act of Congress. If any of those candidates says, I'm going to do this, well, it takes the Congress has to vote on it and do all the shit. And then it actually has to come across the president's desk. There's only so many things that they can do an executive order on. Most things, especially things that are already laws, in order for laws to get changed, that the president can't just change a law. That has to be done by Congress. So any of the things that either side is saying, I'm going to do this on day one, not unless it gets voted on in Congress, unless it's not already a law in the books.
There's a lot, and I would say probably over 90% of the regulations on the books don't need an act of Congress. Now, I don't know that is the case when it comes to cannabis, but there's a lot of bureaucratic bullshit ways that they can just fuck with money and make things effectively illegal or legal, right? It doesn't need always an act of Congress. Now, I'm not saying that's the way with this, because maybe I'm just not educated on enough exactly what.
No, you're right. It comes from appointments. So the president will.
It's 3-letter agencies too,
exactly.
And they're the ones that create the regulations, and they're the ones that enforce the regulations. Think of CRAs, think of FAA, think of DEA.
They're all appointed by. If they're not appointed by the president, it's usually the president appoints. A lot of how many different directors and everything, people, and the directors appoint so many fucking people underneath them, but.
Yeah, they're unelected for the most part, and they're the ones actually writing the regulations. I understand that Congress writes laws and stuff, but Congress is just enabling these 3-letter agencies and other elected officials to write the legislations. And quite frankly, it's lobbyists that are writing them, and it's just the Congress that's approving them.
A lot of times, yeah.
Most of the time. Sorry, I sound like a cynical asshole right now. I understand that, but it just seems to be the way this shit works. And I don't know, talking about either an executive order, which sounds to me like they shouldn't be allowed to just write executive orders, right, and change the rules as a part of the, as an individual that runs the executive branch. But it also seems like Congress isn't fucking doing their job in updating the rules or creating, they like to write new rules, but how about maybe getting some of these rules off the books? That's really what I'm interested in. Let's maybe write some regulations to deregulate some things.
Yeah, that's why I tend to usually support with my vote the third party, like the Libertarians. Traditionally, I've been supporting them more than other third parties, but I support other third parties too. But I rarely vote for a major party because I'm not going to vote for the same shit and expect different results. So. I've checked out on them a long time ago.
I voted third party for most of my voting.
Me too.
I've never. Here's an admission. I've never voted for a president that won. In all the years of voting, I've never once picked the winner. That tells me everything.
Dude, I was excited when fucking I think it was 2 or 3 election cycles ago now, Gary Johnson for the Libertarian Party won. I think it's the 1% threshold or some ridiculous thing. Enough so they could become major party status, so that the next election cycle, the Libertarian Party was on the ballot everywhere in Michigan without them having to fucking canvass to be on the ballot.
Yeah, it's doesn't seem like that high of a threshold. It is only like 1 or 2%, but I mean, you'd be surprised how much it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Especially when it's
well, everybody. Well, I don't want to say everybody, but so many people are on the false belief that if you vote for a third party, it's a wasted vote. When we all know that. Look at history. If you vote for a major party, it's a wasted vote. Look at history. What are you talking about?
It's a two-party system, so the only way to break out of that is to not vote or vote for someone that's not part of those two parties. You know, like,
I've heard conservatives say if you don't or if you vote third party, you're voting for the Democrats, and then I've heard Democrats say if you vote third party, you're voting for the Republicans, and it's like apparently I'm just voting third party because neither of you know who I'm actually voting for.
There's literally, I saw an ad, and I don't get to see too many TV ads, fortunately, because I don't have cable or anything. But I saw an ad recently for one of the candidates, and I'm not even going to say who, but one of them, it was clear. Basically, it said if you vote for this person, it's a vote for this person. That is exactly how they were saying it in the ad read, and I mean, it doesn't. And it doesn't matter really who's putting it out there. They could both say that, you know what I mean? But one of them was very clearly saying that in their ads. I was just kind of like, wow, you know, it doesn't look good. You saying that doesn't look good for you. You know what I mean? Like
that's the biggest turnoff for me.
Oh, that's the truth. That's the truth. They
believe there's the two things that bother me the most about political ads is the ones where they're just like blatantly stretching truths or leaving out facts. It's just like it really twisting it one way, just like no matter what you believe, because I don't like either of the candidates, so I'm looking at it pretty impartially, I would say. And it's just like that's blatantly bullshit what you're saying right now, and you're just like insulting my intelligence. Why would I ever fucking vote for your candidate? You know, it seems like such a stupid tactic. I don't understand some of these ads. Blows me away.
I'm a little confused now in this round because it seems as if the Libertarian Party has actually joined one of the two parties.
Yeah, the Libertarian Party's kind of failed this time. I don't know what's going on.
They've joined one of the two parties. I mean, it's officially like I think one of the parties is officially the Libertarian Party. It's I don't want to use the actual words, right? I'm trying to not use the words here.
Are you saying there was an endorsement?
I'm saying there's a lot of them, right? There's a ton of them right now. There's a shit ton of them right now. There's a lot of flip-flopping going on, and you know what? I wear them in the summertime. I wear flip-flops. Sometimes some people call them sandals. My mom used to call them thongs. That was a weird one because I didn't even know the women wore thongs either.
Really?
Yeah. Thongs.
Those are the flip-flops.
You wear thongs on your feet and on your cheeks.
I prefer not to.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way.
There was a period in time of where there was not underwear that was called thongs. So yeah, there was flip-flops that we did call thongs because there was some stupid thong underwear created at that point.
Is that where the thong came from then? The thong must have came from the flip-flop being a thong.
I don't know. It came from some man, I'm sure.
First, was it the flip-flop or the
that
thong?
did not wear them.
SYSKO, not SISCO. For those wondering, Cisco. I got that wrong. Anyway, either way, yeah.
Cisco, the food supplier.
Yeah, not the Cisco. The
Cisco. Dong.
Cisco, right? That is right.
Now we're taking me back.
Yeah. So that was just our quick Our one ever politics update, our one ever politics rant that will probably, just because it is.
All right, we'll see you guys in 4 years. That was fun.
If there's 4 more
It
years,
don't matter.
they might say, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, definitely not encouraged by either of the major party candidates in cannabis. Neither one encourages me. None.
Yeah, as far as
I guess there was a question there, right?
I'm not going to hold my breath for the legalization or the abolishing of the Controlled Substance Act. I'll hold my breath.
Oh, I don't. I see that coming because I think that the genie's out of the bag. The snowball's rolling down the hill. You're not fucking stopping it, but it might just be slower.
I still think that they're going to get their asses handed to them with the depreciation with taxes handouts once they fucking IRS comes and says, "Oh, all these businesses have been what are they getting all these have not gotten their write-offs in the last 10 years, and now we have to write off all of these things that these businesses couldn't write off before. Oh shit, there goes another $2 trillion.
Not in a million years would they make that retroactive. Why in the world do you think they would make retroactive tax policies in the favor of anybody but the IRS? Red, I love you, but they don't love us. They just want our money.
It would only be fair, man. It would only be fair.
No shit, it would only be fair, but this has not been fair since
fair.
day one.
Fair. What the fuck world are we in?
Not be litigated though. How can that not be litigated? They make something illegal, and all of a sudden all the money you put into it, you just can't get back. That's crazy.
How are the people sitting in jail right now for?
It sounds like a racket. It sounds almost like it's part of the plan, as a matter of fact. Like, let all these $1 million corporations come up to fucking business that are gonna pay taxes. Let's not fucking write them off yet, so we don't have to pay back all that fucking depreciation money.
Oh, they're all gonna fail before they get the opportunity.
Red, why would you be angry about that? That's money collected for the greater good. It goes back to it pays for our public abilities, or public bullshit, or whatever it is, the gold toilet seats or whatever we need in the Air Force One. It pays for that shit.
Hey, I'm all about it, dude. I hope that Air Force One gets golden ailerons next. And you know what? As long as it keeps us out of, keeps our fucking pockets full.
Keeps the drones from dropping shit on our fucking house. Then that's
what
cool.
I mean, dude. Exactly. Keep the bombs in the vehicles from which they came, and let's put money in everybody's pocket. Dude, this is more of a private conversation.
Narnia?
No, dude, just super interesting stuff. I was just listening to a podcast and just heard some interesting things. That's all.
What podcast?
I'm not going to talk about it here, guys.
Oh.
Was it the Puff Puff Pondercast with Anything Goes? Now available on YouTube, discovering the story of Rainbow Farms here in Michigan and how 2 activists got brutally murdered by the Michigan State Police and that crazy DA out of Cass County.
Who is now still working in the public space.
Works for the Attorney General of Michigan, which is one of the highest positions you could possibly be in.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what I wanted to talk about. Did you guys hear about the grow that got $300,000 worth of products stolen out of the central vault of the building somehow?
Oh, really? All the cameras.
Oh, it was $600,000. Oh, and guess what? On Reddit, there's actually employees of the place that said that it was a so the company
ex-employee.
Yeah, the company has not been paying their employees for like the last fucking 6 months or something like that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, how does that work out? Why are you still working?
That's what I'm saying.
Still go to work.
Why are you there after the first paycheck didn't come?
Didn't go through exactly. Why'd you show up again?
Go straight to the labor office and make a complaint. What are you doing?
Why do you? Anyways, all right. Side point. I'm not gonna whatever. People are young. They need to get willpower. That's fine. But they like what?
Okay.
So there's a claim of an inside job, according to the reports and according to the.
I'm just gonna say, duh. Okay.
Well, in Reddit, one of the employees came out and said that the operations manager showed up to his house and handed him $15,000 in cash. So
sweet.
So the operations manager went and did a backdoor deal, sold $600K worth of, basically 1,000 pounds, sold 1,000 pounds, did a backdoor deal, sold 1,000 pounds into metric. So it was a metric deal.
Wow.
Sold for a cash deal, and then went and paid all of the employees cash money that the business
That's
had.
some Robin Hood shit. I like that. Okay.
Vigilante.
And where was this at again?
Company is 305. It's all public information.
Wow.
They're the largest grower in Michigan. Like they have a buco licenses.
Did you say 305? Yeah, they just got bought out.
They've been laying people off left and right, not paying people. According, I don't want to, according to Reddit and according to articles and shit like that, they haven't.
It's all alleged.
Allegedly. Thank you.
You know what's really cool about that is that it was cash, so it's kind of hard to trace that. And then at the same time, they can still probably sue for their entire wages. Pretty soon.
Yeah. I don't have any receipt of you paying me, and so now you're gonna pay
What
me
are you
my back
talking about?
wages
Yeah.
and
Always
all
had that
the.
fucking brand new pool. What are you talking about? That roof I put on last year. That's not brand new. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
That was gifted to me. It's a very generous roofing company.
Yeah.
They wanted to take pictures.
There is a more.
What do you mean? Why is my driveway paved on a dirt road? What are you talking about?
That's pretty fucking funny. Actually, that's pretty goddamn funny. Oh my god.
There's a moral of the story, though.
What's that?
The moral of the story is these guys are
Pay your employees.
well,
How about
there's a reason that they're not paying their employees. They're one of the largest grow facility. They are the largest grow facility in the state, and So, anyways, I don't know anything about the business at all, but
It's
I
going
know-
down over there.
you're laying people off, and
Reddit's scared. Look at
She needs backup.
them.
you not pay people. That's just not. I'm not gonna say anything about that business, but it might sound like the market itself might not be doing that well. Hey,
Red, and that's maybe one of the bigger examples of that happening. But I've heard this multiple times about metric companies backdooring deals just to make payroll.
yeah, just
And it's
dude.
fucking sad because it shouldn't be that way,
right.
but that's the state of the market right now. That's where we're at with it. I
So-
hate to end on that note, though. Give me some positive
Yeah,
news.
well, no, there is positive. All the people that
Grow their own, have awesome weed.
the people that weren't getting money ended up getting some money. They just don't know if they can spend it yet. So, sending good vibes that they can all spend that money and that they all get paid. And any of you out there that are, potentially getting it one over, hopefully you're able to get yourself on a better ship. And nobody's paying you. Go find somewhere else. Find somebody somebody's will pay you. They're out there. Get it. That's just okay. Positive note. There is a Third Eye Craft Affair in November. Ding, 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 ding. On November 23rd, just before Thanksgiving. Ruben's having his birthday on October 8th. On November 8th. I'm sorry. I think John and Lennon's birthday is October 8th. And so Ruben's is celebrating his on November 8th. And I've got some excellent Puro Loco. We've been harvesting our outdoor. It's super cold, guys, and it's a good time to make hash, like literally fresh frozen. Freshest of frozenest. You can do it outside 28 degrees. Get that freshest of frozenest on.
What day is it today again, Red?
It's Sunday. Monday. It's gonna be Monday, and just before dawn, right before the sun comes up, it's a cold.
Black Cat Appreciation Day. It's Black Cat Appreciation Day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Terra Nation and
I'll
not
forget that.
24 y'all.
Cheers, you guys. Have a great week.
Keep growing, everybody.
Cheers, guys.
Growers love.
I guess I'll click the end stream button. I love you.